So just to get the language together, this is verso. Yes. This is verso. The other side is recto.
Whenever somebody wants to see if something is real, the first thing they do is they look in the back. The front of the painting is easily to copy because it is the part of the painting that people see the most. The back of the painting is very secret. You know, it's something that is reserved mostly for curators, conservators. I have this comparison with images with clocks, because every image sort of has a function, something that speaks to the person who's looking at it. But the clock is not just the face, it's not what it tells the time. The clock is a machine. By demonstrating what an image is as an object, you're creating a whole discussion about these two sides. Because there's always a part that's completely illusionistic, and there's always this part that's supposed to be there to hold the illusion. I wasn't really thinking about making sculptures when I started doing this. It came out of a necessity. I decided to bring it back from the photographic and just try to reproduce them as physically as well as I could. While the front of the painting remains eternally the same, a picture by Cézanne of Mount Saint-Victoire will be exactly the same as that morning he painted in the south of France forever and ever. While its back will continuously mutate, will continuously change. This represents only a time in the life of this painting. So this has something to do with photography right there. You know, it's just a little freeze. In the back of these paintings, you always see a collection of labels where every exhibition that has been to usually displayed. And this is like a little bit like pornography, you know. You not only know them, but then you get to know them very intimately. You know where they've been, you know who they've been with, and you know how they got hurt. But every single scratch, hole, ding, every single stain is exactly the same as the original picture. We worked on this photographing this for a period of 6 years, studying them very carefully, you know, and taking photographs with extremely high resolution so we could really get detail on every inch of the painting. Everybody who got involved in this project were so proud to be working in this, because for once they would have a chance to show their part of the deal, their side of the bargain, to show that you know, what they do. And they did it so well, to the point that these are absolutely amazing.
For us, for the team who's working on it, the real, like the goosebump moment is when you look at the print next to the object. The way Vic usually works, where he takes a two-dimensional thing, turns it into a three-dimensional thing by completely reconfiguring it, and then making another two-dimensional thing. This is completely different. We're taking the three-dimensional thing, turning it into a two-dimensional thing, and then trying to create a three-dimensional thing from it. So it completely turned the whole process around. Each one is a piece of sculpture. And no, it's not a piece of sculpture, because sculpture can be cast. There's a lot of stuff in sculpture that can be done over and over again mechanically. Everything is treated individually in such an amazing way. The only piece that we really have like a whole narrative of how it was framed, and it's kind of amazing, is that one, like Grand Jatte. There's a whole book about every aspect of it. There are like 4 technical chapters on how we painted it, how it was conserved, how it was framed. And the real craftsman always approaching with humility. We really didn't think that we could do it. We literally, I mean, 3 of us spent about an hour discussing why this joint was here and what that meant about what the entire piece was. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't have to make sense. It has to be authentic. Then when we asked the conservators of the museum to answer those questions, what they returned to us was another photograph that Vic had taken, which is now their point of reference. So doing this project has really helped the museums a lot, because we're totally adding to their bank of knowledge. Everyone who's like in the business, who I talked about this project, gets really, really excited, because it's all people who work on the hidden stuff, on the really essential, important hidden stuff. And now it's like spotlight on you, you know? spotlight on the hardware, you know. So it's really good. That's the best thing that art really does. It takes ordinary things and elevates them to a level beyond the ordinary.
We start by building the object, the frame, and then stretching the canvas on a stretcher. And then we started adding the tapes. The labels are the last thing that I do with all of them because it's the hardest thing to match the colors on all the papers, the whites. You see there's 10 different whites in these. So what we're kind of doing is we're kind of copying the photograph and the object. I'm having to interpret and think, well, what colors would those have been? It's the first time I've seen the finished piece besides photograph. I think it looks pretty good. This looks like it's the real object. It's a funny thing. You bring it up to a point and then it just sort of like snaps into some sort of reality. One of the challenges has been to make materials that look like they are disintegrating or really worn, labels that are peeling off, paint that's coming off of canvases, and reproduce that, but still end up with an object that's not falling apart, you know, or disintegrating, that'll actually last, yeah. Dirties the edges up just enough there. That's always a bit of a giveaway when you cut an old piece of paper and then it's cleaner on the edge there. So. This is fun, the way this works. This is to age it. It's making the paper more yellow. It's finished. I think.